I normally don't really like humongous cases, but this one is piquing my interest because of these three numbers. The legendary 900, but like how legendary is it in 2026? I see it's already been opened, thanks customs, only single box packaging. Okay, let's see how it is. If I'm honest, it doesn't smell great. I can already tell the size is not going to be for me, but let's hope they did some good stuff with features and build quality, shall we? Despite my lack of interest in the full tower category, because I don't build EATX that often, I've never worked with SSI EB motherboards, but it actually does good business, despite the relatively low market share that is below 20%, but because full towers usually cost way more than your average mid-tower, it does good business that way. And the 900 is expensive at $300, but so is all the competition that is catering to the same enthusiast builder who needs space for giga motherboard hardware and multi-GPU rundown. So Antec entering back into the space is actually not that bad of an idea, because it feels like the whole SSIEB space is quietly underserved. But honestly, I feel like it's very easy to make a giant full tower. What becomes difficult is designing things with intent, aka making sure that you include everything that enthusiasts want, like a fully loaded I/O for the front case, safety mounting for both your hardware and the side panels, easy handling of the actual case after assembly, accessible dust filters is quite important, especially in a workstation environment, and so on. I have great expectations because it's Antec, because it's the 900. Please don't disappoint. For a workstation-focused PC case, these side panels are kind of a joke, because when installing the panel, we have these three very short pegs at the bottom that catch into the frame, but they're not long enough and the side panel just kind of swims around the bottom. And there are only two small pegs at the very top that are supposed to secure this giant glass piece to the frame, but they're not strong enough. Come on, guys. I have zero confidence in how they mount, so this definitely was an afterthought. At least the glass is completely tint-free, and of course, the double peel. But come on, this does not instill confidence. I'm not saying fire whoever designed these panels, but maybe reshift your priorities. You can see the exterior framing has some similarities to what Cooler Master has been doing with their modular series, but none of the modularity is available here with Antec. I don't know about you, but this feed design is definitely not it. I mean, the case has character. It's kind of refined looking. It's very elegant and handsome in a way, but the feet, what the heck is happening here? Airflow out of the box is completely covered, so we have 4 140mm fans, one at the rear, 3 at the front, and 2 120 reverse for our power supply shroud. The rail system makes total sense here for our front fans just because of this giant front opening, and we do have the ability to reposition these rails for 120s, 140s, and even 200mm fans. Now, this is unfortunate. One of the screws here came completely stripped. I haven't even touched this yet. They should definitely be more careful at the factory, please, come on. Our top fan mount is not on the rail system, unfortunately, like the front, so here we have our standard fan bracket. 4 screws in this bracket can come out. It will support up to a 360 radiator, nothing larger, and it does have 2 positions. One in here and one that is slightly closer, like a centimeter closer towards our front panel. I'm guessing just to give us a little bit more spacing from our rear fan. And because of where the I/O is located, you cannot install anything larger at the top. And by the way, this I/O for a workstation, it is definitely limiting, especially when we compare to cases like the PA602 from ASUS or the half series that gives us way better I/O. It is removable toe. This is where I might say for potential upgrades in the future, but let's not kid ourselves. There's going to be absolutely no modules coming for the 900. Let's be real. It is a little strange that this light bar is not continuous. So for example, this is your power LED, but this is your hard drive activity LED. It's constantly flickering. This looks really bizarre, and the button has 2 clicks, one in the front, one in the back. So you'd think one of them is a reset switch, but it's not. Both of these are a power button. The power button is also in a very convenient spot for accidental presses when you close the side panel. Oh, there it goes. It is good I removed the front I/O, because check this out. This entire beam seems to be loose. This actually explains why the side panel might sit so poorly inside the frame, just because this beam is not properly secured. And so the glass is probably either pushing or pulling. Oh, no way. They're completely loose. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that one's tight. This one? Oh my God, this one's also so loose. Okay, let's get that back in there. Okay. Oh, way better. Way better. Let's see if this side's any better. This one's completely out. Okay, get back in there. I mean, to be fair, this would not be a workstation full tower if you didn't have to work on it yourself, huh? This isn't good, man. This isn't good. Let's see how strong these rubber pads are underneath the power. Oh, wow. The glue is very weak. Okay, both of them? Yep, all right. Why would you need these giant things underneath the power supply anyway when we have this ventilation at the bottom in the first place, Antec? There's also the matter of the iShift kit, which is sold as an optional accessory for the Antec 900, which I find super bizarre, just because it is available by default on the Flux Pro enclosure, which is like over $100 cheaper. And so this you have to buy separately, and allows you to rotate the power supply 90 degrees, so the cables are kind of facing you and not towards the interior of the case. And for this being priced at their flagship level, the fact that this is an optional accessory is kind of weird. The biggest flex on the interior is actually its simplicity. Flat motherboard tray, support for EEB motherboards, which is why we have two sets of rubber grommets over here. It will support back connect motherboards as well for a very clean system, and that's pretty much it. So naturally, component fitment on the interior is not going to be a problem at all for both graphics cards, massive CPU coolers. You can do up to a 420 radiator on the front and up to a 360 at the top. And here's an EATX motherboard for scale. It absolutely gets lost in there. Here's a 5080 Tough for size reference. It fills in the space nicely. But Antec, where's my anti-GPU sag bracket or any support for the graphics card? Especially for a workstation enclosure where you might have like two of these or multiple Quadro cards in there. How the hell are they supposed to sit inside the frame without sag? This interior section is removable if you want to, let's say, replace the fans or not have any fans there at all. And behind the motherboard tray, I'm surprised they went with this design. It's very simple. Again, standard Velcros, not the double channel Velcros that we saw on the Flux Pro. Now, sure, there are a ton of cable tie points and lots of space here for all your cables, but just, I would appreciate some hand holding, even if this is catered towards workstations. Our potential for 3.5-inch drive storage is all located in front of the power supply. 2 drive cages, 4 caddies in total, and they are very flimsy. No hot swap mechanism here, just our basic plastic. We have 3 more SSD caddies at the front here without captive thumb screws. So if you take one off, all right, that's gone. And now here, it's very flat. So even if you do install an SSD here, cable managing these guys would be not pleasant. There are 2 more SSD caddies here in the main chamber on top of the power supply shroud, but without any cutouts for cables. So your SATA and power have to go through the back here instead. The accessory box here is appreciated, but there's nothing special in it. Just a few zip ties, a fan extension, and some screws. Antec did a good job with dust filtration on the 900. We have a massive filter at the bottom, removable filters both from the top and at the front, and they are the high performance kind. So no dust is getting through and is going to be really good for airflow. And I also find this square metal mesh not to be a significant driver in terms of noise, and it lets in plenty of air. Now, to nobody's surprise, the temperatures are perfectly fine. We're dealing with such massive volume on the interior with really good airflow delivery already. So yeah, CPU and GPU are perfectly cool. But this being Antec's flagship workstation enclosure, why not go the extra route and give us a little bit more value add and use their like Nova fans, which are just feel slightly better. They have slightly better performance versus the Tranquil fans that are included in the case. And that keeps coming back to the same idea of like, what is the value add here? Because when I compare what the 900 gives us versus what the Flux Pro gives us is support for those massive EEB workstation motherboards. Because the fans are the same, but on the Flux Pro, you get a little screen, you actually get a fan hub, you get way better cable management, organization and design. The Flux Pro is also a full tower, so you're not looking at like a massive downgrade in terms of volume. And the whole marketing around the 900 feels a little bit out of touch because it's just AI plastered everywhere instead of trying to cater to why the original 900 was so popular in terms of price to performance, some design elements that made it stand out, like the perforation of the top fan, side ventilation that was possible still. I wish that they would interpret the original 900 into 2026 terms, because this one just feels like traditional default full tower with a legendary background name. That's about it. I'm not the target audience anyway, but I feel like Antec really missed a shot here of trying to bring something unique and new to the table with the 900, because if you look at the competition, all the cases that still support those large SSI EEB motherboard formats, like many other cases, have way better features in terms of both, GPU support brackets that are built in, some additional airflow brackets on the interior because of the large format, etc. Like better I/O, for example, like basic things that you would think a workstation enclosure should cover, but the 900 doesn't. And that is very, very weird. I love their Performance One FT. I love the Flux Pro, but the 900 to me is definitely a miss. Let me know if you agree. I'm Dmitry. I'll talk to you in the next video.